Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Mufseen. Mufseen is from Brighton, but he lives in London. So let's see what Mufseen has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, Mufseen, how are you today?
Good. Just happy it's Friday,
I know it's Friday, isn't it? I was talking to my flatmate yesterday. This week, of course, was bank holiday on Monday. Last night we were talking. I was like, "Oh my God, tomorrow is already Friday," and I think it's because of the bank holiday. It went so fast.
It's come by really quickly. I'm really happy for it. It's just like I probably should have taken Monday off as well, so then I'd have more time off.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Mufseen. So just before we start the game, just tell me, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Brighton. I'm British Bangladeshi, and I live in London. I've been here for about almost 10 years now. That makes me feel really old.
But you were born in the UK?
Yeah. So I've been in London for about 10 years, but I grew up in Brighton, so always like by the seafront. It's always been really nice to grow up there.
And what do you do for a living?
So I work as a financial planning analysis manager for a digital media company. So it's a company that manages YouTube channels and social media. And also I run a podcast with my co-host Spencer, and it's called Queer Talk. So we're into the end of season 2 now. So it's really exciting that it keeps growing.
Right. All right. So through the interview, I'm going to ask a little bit more about your podcast, so we can kind of explore a little bit for the interview. Okay. And and what do you like the most about your job?
My day job.
Yes.
Or the podcast. Okay. What I like the most about my day job is I just get to work with loads of creative people, and I get to work in an industry that's growing. Like, it's digital media. It's a step away from traditional TV. So like, it's always problem solving. There's always like fun new things. So like recently this month, like we're looking into how there's new subscription services for podcasts. So it's like, it's just nice to be part of a very dynamic industry.
So in case I would like to expand my YouTube channel, you are the right person to talk about.
Yeah. I can tell you how to monetize it and stuff.
We can talk about that in private after the interview. Okay, Mufseen. So welcome to William and the Magic Box. Box full of random fun questions. Okay, so I'm just gonna play some music now, just for us to get a little bit in the mood before the first question. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, Mufseen, let's go for the first question. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's do it. So the first question is, do you know anyone who is living their life to the fullest?
And anyone living their life to the fullest?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my co-host Spencer from the podcast. He's 23 and he is like doing everything he wants to do. And I'm like always in awe of what he's up to, because I'm like, when I was 23, I wasn't doing all this stuff. But he's doing it all. You know, he's doing podcasts, he's a photographer. It's just like, I love being around people who are so inspiring like that.
And how long do you know him for?
Only a year and a half, so not very long.
Cool.
But I always meet new people, and I love meeting new people. Like, I think it enriches our lives to meet more people and understand other people's experiences.
Absolutely. I think we learn a lot being approached when meeting new people. That's for sure. I agree. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Mufseen. So tell me a little bit about your podcast show.
Yeah. So it's an LGBT podcast, but the focus is on positive news stories, because a lot of the times when we look at the news stories about LGBT people, it's always quite negative, or it's about homophobia. So we wanted to do a podcast really celebrating the community. So that's why we've got Queer Talk, and we just talk about all the progress that's happening in different countries and also in the UK, and also interviewing people from the community who are doing great things.
Right. And how does it work? Is it like once a week, twice a week? What time do you go?
It's every 2 weeks, depending on how busy we are, but we always try to do it every 2 weeks, you know. And yeah, if it was any more than that, it would be like a full-time job. It would be too much. But yeah, we really try to make sure that every episode is like very poignant, rather than just doing loads of stuff. We want to make sure it's quality over quantity.
Absolutely. Cool. Next question for you is, if you could stay any age for the rest of your life, which age would you choose and why?
Oh my gosh, I've always thought about this question, and I always thought it would be great to be 18 because, you know, it's before you go to before you get a job basically and life gets boring. But I think at that age you're so innocent and you don't know enough about the world, so I would say my sweet spot would be around 26.
Forever.
Yeah, forever. Like, because I think you know enough about the world, and you know you've got your own independence, but also maybe your job isn't like super stressful at that point. Yeah.
Great, I agree. Next question for you. Let's do it. Okay, Mufseen, so you've been in London for 10 years. What do you like the most about London through your 10 years journey?
10 years journey. I just love the fact that there's so many different types of people. Like, I grew up in Brighton. It's like, it's not that far away, but there's just a lot of, it's fairly multicultural, but when you come to London, like, there's just so many people. And it's, yeah, I just love that really. Just, I'm almost, I would say, like, I'm addicted to meeting new people and like hearing that. So, yeah, I like that. I like, there's just lots to do in London, you know, I never get bored. It's huge.
And what the reason you moved to London was because of work or just new challenge?
It was, yeah, for work. Well, I think when I was younger, I always knew I wanted to go to London. You know, I always knew I wanted to go to a big city. That's probably because I'm gay, you know. I wanted to like really just be independent and be gay and like be myself. So coming to London was always the goal for me, even when I was younger.
And your family are back in Brighton?
Yeah, yeah.
Very close, like very, very easy to get to see it.
When it's not a pandemic, I go back every month.
Okay, next question for you is, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Oh, you're asking the hard questions. Relationship deal breakers. Someone who's just like doesn't really understand beyond maybe their own privileges. So like for me, like it's very important that the person I date or the person I want to be with understands about trans issues and understands about trans people, because like if they don't want to think about, you know, the livelihood of other people and really fight for that in their day-to-day life, then I'm like, that's not someone I want to be associated with.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question for you. Let's do it. Right, next question for you is, where do you want to be in 10 years time from now?
Ooh. I think not in London. I want to live somewhere like where it's warm, you know, all the time. I'm done with this cold weather. I just want to be closer to the equator, please. I just need to figure out my plan to get there. You know, I would love to, like, I still love London and I love the UK, but I would like to spend less time here. I'd like to be like, I don't know, Gran Canaria or like somewhere in Asia, like just somewhere where it's warm. I really like Asia as well, so just a complete different change of scenery, and I'd love in 10 years time for that to be my life. Fingers crossed.
Yes, for sure. Yes, yes. Next question for you. But before the next question, I'd like you to tell me, did you always have the support of your family being gay?
No, because I'm from a Muslim Bangladeshi family. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, in Islam, it's not really allowed, you're not allowed to be in the same-sex relationship. So that's what we were always taught. So growing up, I always like hid it. But then when was in my 20s. I was in a relationship, so I thought, hey, better tell my parents that I'm in a relationship. But no, it didn't go down well. But I think a lot of people just need time to understand it because it's new to them, you know? If you're not, like for us, being gay or queer, like we're thinking about it all the time when we're younger, and we're hiding it, but we have time to process it as well. So it's about coming out and then also allowing people the time to kind of understand it fully and educate themselves. But no, I didn't always have the support of my family, but every single person has a different reaction. So it's not like my entire family doesn't support me. It's just some people are taking a bit longer to get used to having a queer person in the family, but also accepting in that, not just acknowledging it, but also accepting it and understanding this is everything about this person.
I agree as well, and I think what I believe as well, sometimes our parents regarding religion or society, they don't know much information about it. It's always happened with the neighbors, with someone, but never happened to us in our family. And sometimes understanding as well, because they've been raised in a different way. They had different approach of life, but they've been taught in a different way. So I understand sometimes as well, and it's good to understand. Being gay, it's good to understand sometimes they don't accept or they don't understand. Sometimes not their faults. It's just the way they kind of think used to life. Absolutely. Okay, next question for you is, what do you consider most romantic?
I would consider like it sounds really corny, but like just a very lovely dinner, like candlelit dinner, really romantic, good view, go for a walk afterwards. Like I like it when there's a lot of thought that goes into it. It doesn't have to be super expensive, you know. But yeah, that's my idea of something really romantic.
Simplicity. I think simplicity is one of the cutest things, for sure.
Even if it's just like playing video games together, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just about quality time, and that's like, I think that's my love language. It's not about gift giving or anything like that. It's more about spending quality time with each other. And
I think as well, attention. Sometimes nowadays, we are so busy with our lives, and if you give like a little special or unique attention to the loved ones, I think it can touch you. That's for sure. Right, let's go for another one. Let's do it. Before the next question, so far since you started your podcast, what's the biggest or the most memorable lesson you learned so far for the journey?
You'll never know everything. You know, we've had like 30 episodes and talking to, I guess, 30 people, and I'm still learning stuff constantly, and I don't think that journey is ever going to stop. So like, I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned. You're always going to be learning, even you'll never know everything.
Cool. Next question for you is, what is the weirdest dream you ever had?
Weirdest dream I've ever had? Do you know what? I used to have this kind of like dream when I was younger. It's one of the only few recurring dreams I had. Was driving in a car with my family and then on a bridge, but then the bridge would suddenly go really high and really narrow, and I think that's where my fear of heights came from. It's just being on this like really scary roller coaster kind of bridge, and I'd always jump out of bed and like it would wake me up when I thought I was going to fall off. So I think that's where my fear of heights comes from, and also I never like going on roller coasters either, because that scares me. A grown man and I can't go on a roller coaster. I'm like, what?
Do it happen to you sometimes? You have the same dream, like the scary ones? For me, it happens sometimes. It repeats. Since sometimes I have dreams since I was a teenager. Sometimes it come along. I was like, oh my god, I still have this dream coming along. It's possible.
I just want the wet dreams to be the recurring ones.
And I hate that. I don't like when I have this lovely, beautiful dream and suddenly I just wake up.
Yeah, like that's exactly it. Sometimes those are the worst dreams. It's like, why did I stop it there? You know, I want to go back into that dream.
Yes, it happened to you.
And you know what? The other dreams that I find really annoying are the boring ones. You know, the dreams where I'm having like, I'm just sat on my laptop, or like I'm just going for a walk. Like, come on, subconscious. You know, be creative. Come up with a better storyline.
But it happened to me so many times when I'm having this lovely dream about something, or even like eating something, and suddenly I just wake up, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go back there, but no, it's not possible anymore. Next question. Mufseen, tell me something. Tell me something that I only can find in Brighton. I cannot find anywhere else in the world. Something like local, something special. Tell me.
One of my favorite things from Brighton is getting the little like mini donuts. Have you ever been to Brighton? Right on Brighton Pier, they sell these mini donuts, and they just taste amazing. They're like super spongy. They're probably really bad for you as well, but they taste so good. But you have to be careful. The seagulls in Brighton are huge. Like, they're not normal sized seagulls, they're big, and they will steal your food.
You know what? Next time I go to Brighton, I'm gonna have those little things. I'm a sweet tooth. I love sweets, so I'm gonna remember that for sure. Okay, next question for you is, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
My favorite thing as a kid, I used to just play Pokemon a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna try to make myself sound cooler than I am. A lot of my childhood was just taken over by Pokemon. So I used to just play every single game all the time, watch all the cartoons, really love anime as well. So I think as a kid, I was just a super geek.
Do you have siblings as well?
I do, yeah, I do. I have 4 sisters and a brother. I'm the youngest from the baby. So I got away with just playing games because
I'm sure it's spoiled. That's for sure. Next question. Next question is, what do you think is a good age to start dating and why?
I mean, I started dating when I was 14. I guess any age is okay, you know? There's no, like, I wouldn't say to anyone, like, you're too young to date, because you should always have experiences. Obviously, the dates you have when you're older are a bit different to when you're younger. You're not going to do the same stuff. But, you know, you should always be, I'm not going to say to like a 14-year-old, don't go on a date with another 14-year-old because you're too young. Like, that's a bit strict. If I had kids, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I think there's no age to start.
I agree.
As long as it's always consensual and legal, you know, it's okay.
I agree. As long as you feel safe, as long as you feel okay, I'm safe to start. No, you're never. But like enough, know enough to kind of okay, I can go on a date. There's no rule. There's no like rule, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You say something?
I was going to say, like, one of the things I always think about is like, I don't want to be telling, like, when I'm older and have kids, like, I don't want to tell my kids, like, don't do this, don't do that. It's all about creating a safe space to allow them to explore whoever they are in whichever way they want to do and do everything they want to do. But just like, be there as like a guardian, because that's what you are at the end of the day.
And again, if you say no, they're gonna do it anyway. So it's better for you to
exactly. They're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, and it's gonna be more tempted to do it when you say no. I think the magical thing is just allow them to do, but support them and make them understand what is what's the procedure of doing it and what's gonna happen and everything. I think that's the magical. I enjoyed the show so far.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Oh, another
People
question.
don't normally ask me these kind of questions.
You see, the magic box. Let's do it. In your opinion, what do you think is the most challenging part of the bad part of living in London?
Everything's expensive. You know, everything's expensive. I think I realise it now that we're out of a pandemic. Like, if I want to go and get a beer, it's £6. You know. But yeah, I think that's the one thing about London. It's like, it feels like a rip-off sometimes because it's like, that's what people say. It's like, it's a scam. London is a scam. You know, as soon as you leave London, everything's cheaper. Properties are cheaper as well. So I think that's just that's the side of London I don't like. But we all fall for the scam because we want to be social. We want to meet people. We want to like live this life and have these careers, and that's great. But I'd love it if capitalism just like took a step down and like allowed us to really, flourish.
Great. Next question is, if you were to raise a child, what are the most important things would you like them to learn?
Ooh, most important thing I'd like them to learn. Do you know what? I think self-confidence is probably the most important thing. Like, of course, there's so many other things I'd want a child to learn, and they will learn in their life. But the key thing, I think, is probably self-confidence. They've got to start from within. If they have that, then everything else is possible. But it's about instilling that kind of confidence in a healthy way without it becoming arrogant or egotistical. I think that kind of self-respect and self-confidence is what I want to learn, how I can teach that to a child.
Why do you think that's important?
It just allows you to be your fullest self, you know? Like we were saying earlier, like I see Spencer and like he's doing everything he wants to do because he has a lot of self-respect and self-confidence now. And same with me, like but I got at that at a later age. So I'd love for, especially with queer children who don't have that kind of confidence because they're always facing difficulties or like differences with what's expected of them. It chisels away at your confidence without you even realizing. So like if I had a child, I'd want to tell them, like, you know, you should really be confident in what you do and like follow your passions and stuff. Definitely don't let people say that don't do that because, you know, you're never going to make it or anything like that. So that's why it's just really important. And then if you have that, then everything else will kind of fall into place, I think.
It makes sense. I think actually, if I would make up a school subject, that would be one of I would make up of this kind of school subject. Imagine teaching children early age regarding that. Imagine how amazing they would grow up and the world would be in a different direction.
So like when I was at school, we had like career advisors, but they were just so focused on the education system and like getting a job and stuff. It was just so this that no one in these kind of career functions was actually advising you on like, hey, you know, use your differences to get further or like do this. Like it was never really like lateral thinking around that and like really helping the person. It was all very tick boxy. So maybe like, yes, it should be part of the school system, but in a way that it replaces that careers advice section with something a bit more valuable for people's lives.
Absolutely. And I think emotionally, and they will be more prepared for the adult life, that's for sure. Another question for you, Mufseen. Let's do it. Next question. What scares you the most about your future?
Security, I guess. Not having that house abroad, closer to the equator in hot weather. What scares me the most is just being able to support myself. Like I think with straight people who have kids, you kind of like that's your backup plan. Like, you know, they'll take care of you when you're older. I'm like, that's not for me. So I have to like think about the idea of me getting old is like kind of scary in itself because I'm like, wait, how am I going to support myself? Wait, do I have a pension? I can forget about that. I think there's not much. I've not done much like forward planning about preparing for that. So I'm so focused on the now. But yeah, the idea of getting old is scary for me.
I think when you accept it, you're gonna hurt less.
I just turned 30. I need to start accepting it.
Oh my God, you're so young. You're just 30. Oh my God, I think I might be a little bit of the cries of the 30s. It's like hitting a little bit.
Yeah.
So young. So when was your birthday?
It was last month, April.
Okay.
So I just turned it.
Cool. Welcome to the generation of 30.
Thank you. Any advice?
Yes, I can give advice to you. You are, I think the 30th is you're gonna feel very secure about this age right now because the 20s you kind of recover life, everything's nice, beautiful. I think the 30s you feel more mature, not just like age, but feel more mature, more secure of yourself. That's my own experience. I feel more secure, and I think you find some like, let's say you don't take life too serious about issue when you have two issues. Like, all of us, we have issues, negativity, things that we work every day, try to understand or work out every day. And I think when you 30th, I've learned that it's you are more kind to yourself, and you see your issues or your positive, negative side in a different way. You approach life in a different way. Yeah. Makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Next question for you. Let's do it. Before the next question, and what's the most challenging parts you found so far on your podcast?
The most challenging part of the podcast was just like the setup, because we started it before the pandemic, and then we had the pandemic, we had to go remote. So just figuring out all the techie stuff, and that was really hard because neither of us had ever had a podcast before. And then we had to learn a completely new way of doing it. So that was kind of challenging. And then we've had other challenges since as well. Mostly just about like scheduling, like how much can we do? Like we tried to do more episodes once and then realized, wait, we're going to burn out because we are just taking on too much for ourselves. And it's really, like you said earlier, like we have to be kind to ourselves and understand like, we want to do so much, but we can't do everything at once. We have to take it in steps.
Cool. Great. Right. Which is one movie you could watch over and over again?
I would say I don't watch films very often over and over again. I'm one of those people like watch one, done. Like I'm probably never going to see that again. But there is. When I want to just like relax on a weekend and stuff and just want to put something easy on that I know I'll like, I usually go for Studio Ghibli films. So I'll just put like Kiki's Delivery Service on because I know the storyline and I just love the artwork. I think that's what it is, it's the artwork behind it is just beautiful, and I love watching that. So yeah, I think it'll probably be something like Studio Ghibli's Kiki Delivery Service.
Do you still sometimes find yourself watching Pokemon?
No, there's never a storyline to that, really. It was just watching cute creatures.
Yeah, to take it down. Right, I have 3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right, for the next one, how do you find the gay scene in London? Like, what's the most positive and the most negative parts of the gay scene in London?
Oh, you want all the tea. I think what's great about London is like it is big, so like, there are loads of different areas that you can go to, and loads of different bars and stuff and venues. And it takes a while to find out your place or like, what you like on certain days and stuff. So I really like places like The Glory because it's very queer. It's in East London. Like there's sometimes drag performances and dance performances there, and like it's just like it's such a nice community feel to it, and it's very like Londoner community feel. Whereas if you go to Soho, for example, there's just a lot more tourists, or like there's just a lot more people, and it can get a bit confused as to finding which bars you like there. But also, I've also kind of liked Soho recently because of the lockdown. It's been pedestrianised. It's actually a very like local feel again. But the worst part of the gay scene is probably, especially when I'm like single and I'm looking for guys on the dance floor, I'm like, I don't know what I'm like anymore because it's been a year since I've had in that space, but like, I was just very like not confident to talk to guys. I was like, he's too hot. So I guess like the hardest part is just actually starting a conversation in bars sometimes because the music's loud, they're with their friends and you think you're not good enough. If there's a way to solve that problem, please let me know.
You come across as a very confident person.
So I think I've gained a lot of confidence in the last year doing the podcast, to be honest, because I've been talking to more people, and I'm like, I don't know what I'd be like in those spaces anymore because I think I may have changed in the year.
What I through my gay life, I've always been gay, but I think it's going out. I always if someone meant to be to you, it's going to be somewhere. It doesn't matter where it's gonna come to you. I think you just need to be out there, be yourself always, even if you feel like not confident for some reason, if you think you don't fit in some tribes for some reason, never find yourself in this direction. Just be yourself. The right one is going to be there, is going to spot you, because if you're going to be out there pretend being somebody else just to please the environment itself, the right one's not going to see you because you're being somebody else. So what's
if you're yourself, you'll attract the right people.
Absolutely. So sometimes the insecurity will come, of course, and sometimes, as you said about hot guys, this and that, I mean, they're going to be there, but you just need to kind of, okay, I'm myself, and you need to be yourself and the best of yourself. I think that's the main thing. Be the best of yourself. Next question is, what's your idea of a perfect friendship?
I do have a perfect friendship. I've got a few really good friends, so I guess I'm quite lucky that I do have, I wouldn't say perfect, but very close friends, and that's just about having people who support you, checking in, hanging out, but also having all those discussions. And what I used to do when I was younger, probably because I was just a bit more closed off when I was in my early 20s, is I wouldn't talk to even my closest friends about everything. And nowadays I have no filter. I'll talk to my friends about everything, and it doesn't matter what it's about. I'll talk to them about the guy I slept with, I'll talk to them about the shape of my poo, it could be anything. And I really like having those kind of friendships, because that means we completely trust each other and we're completely there for each other. We don't have to talk every day, but we can communicate on WhatsApp or whatever, on Instagram. And those are the kind of friendships I like, where you can just have that real conversation, that real laughter. That's probably it. That's the key, a good friendship is one that makes you laugh.
And the best friends or close friends, we don't choose them. They come naturally. If the chemistry is there, that's it. You don't
Sometimes you can't get rid of them.
Yes. And sometimes they are annoying or they are pissed off, but it makes interesting, and I appreciate in the end, for sure. 2 questions left. Right. Tell me, during this lockdown, 1 year, we've been through this challenging time that the world is facing right now. What's the most positive thing you took out of it, and what's the most negative part you took out of it?
Start with the negative. The most negative thing of this lockdown is I realised I also was one of those people that is very level in my moods, but I am very susceptible to other people's moods and the weather, and understanding because in lockdown there's so many external factors that have disappeared. We're not distracting ourselves enough, so when you're just sat on your own, you realize, oh wait, my mood goes up because of this and my mood goes down because of that. So it's been a lot of self-learning about yourself and introspection, which has kind of been forced upon us, but I think we can all take a bit of reflection from the past year and be like, okay, I now know me as a human, this is how I work. And I think that is something that's really valuable that everyone can take away. So it's a kind of a negative, but it's also a positive. The most positive thing out of lockdown is probably just having those, because we couldn't socialize with so many people. I had my bubble, and I was socializing with just my flatmate and 2 other friends, really. And we really formed a good friendship and close bond, and I realized that this is actually what it's about. This is life. You don't need to have hundreds and hundreds of friends. If you just have those few friends that you see, or you love and you trust and you want to hang out with them, that's what it's really about. That's real quality of life, and I think that's one of the positives I've taken from this.
Great. Next question for you is, who in your family you would trade places with, and why, if you could?
In my family, I'll trade places with my 3-year-old nephew, because he has a great life. He gets taken to the park. He gets to watch YouTube videos all day and cartoons. He gets fed, and he's adorable. I trade places with him straight away.
That's funny. Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Right, Mufseen from Brighton. Let's get the last question for you. Good one. What makes you a unique person?
Makes me a unique person. I don't think I am that unique, to be honest. Like,
I'm sure you are. All of us, we have
Hey.
our secrets or our, I don't know, gifts, let's say.
yeah, I mean, like, everyone is unique. Everyone has very different life stories. Everyone has very unique circumstances growing up. And I've definitely had like a few life events in my life where I'm like, this is meant to be unique. But I don't know. I don't think I'm special. Maybe I am unique, but maybe not special. But my name is unique. You know, my name is weird. I've never met another Mufseen. So even when I was younger, I always thought like, hey, that's unique. And I had to say it was unique because otherwise I thought it was weird. So I just had to put a positive spin on it. So I guess, yeah, maybe my name makes me unique.
It does for sure. That's for sure. Right, so let's play now the quick thinking game, okay? So I'm going to give away some words and you just tell one word that comes to your mind related to this one, okay?
Oh no, okay.
Ooh, let's start with family.
Love.
Money.
More.
How about love?
Happiness.
Life.
Long.
Sex.
Sweaty.
Politics.
Meh.
Religion.
No.
Fear.
Demons.
Regret.
Sadness.
Desire.
Love again.
Okay. Friendship.
Abundance.
Success.
Peak.
Happiness.
People.
Wish.
Stars.
If I tell you Bangladesh, one word.
Home, I guess, for me.
Okay.
Because it's
Brighton.
Damn it, that's home too. Brighton, I would say C.
Okay. London.
Stress, if I'm honest.
And if you could define your podcast in one word only, what that would be?
Fabulous, obviously.
Hey, good one, good one. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend and I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about Mufseen and what he needs to improve on? What do you think your best friend will tell me?
What's the most beautiful thing about me? I don't know, maybe modesty, because I can't even think of something. And what I need to improve on is probably focusing. I'm very like forgetful, like my mind is everywhere. So maybe that's one thing I need to focus on, just focus. But it's hard, you can't ask me to compliment myself.
Well, sometimes it's difficult to talk about ourselves, that's for sure, that's for sure. Let's play now Mufseen and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Right, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so a few weeks ago I was in Brighton and my best friend was skating. She was on rollerblades and she was learning how to do that. And I told her, like, I can't roller skate, I can't rollerblade, I can't ice skate, I can't skate on skateboards, like I just can't do it. I don't know what it's about. Like I can ride a bike, but I can't do that. And that's one thing that I'm absolutely okay, happy being terrible at. Yeah, I accept I'm terrible at that. So what is the one thing that you're happy knowing that you're terrible at?
Actually, I could say the same as you because I cannot do anything I've just said. But I'm gonna tell. Right, I'm gonna tell you something now. It's very fun and embarrassing as well. I don't know how to drive.
Oh.
I'll tell you something now. And I've been, you know, it's funny because I don't know how to drive, and I have so much time dreams, and I call nightmares because I was driving and the car wasn't moving, and I was pushing myself and trying to, and the car wasn't moving. So it's something that I found funny, but sometimes embarrassing. I cannot drive. I could say, if you ask me this question before the lockdown, I would say cooking, because I never been with the kitchen. I never kind of had the habits. I can cook now, basic, you know, and I learned and I got passion of cooking, because before I was only eating outdoors, outside, but nowadays, one of the positive things about lockdown was about learning how to cook, and now I appreciate and I like it, cooking. But drive, it's something that I am not able.
A lot of Londoners don't know how to drive. I'm not a very good driver either.
But you can drive.
I can technically drive, but I haven't driven for 10 years since I moved to London, so I'm not sure if I can anymore. But that reminds me, that's another deal breaker from your previous question. They have to learn to drive, because I need someone to drive me around.
Let's do a deal. I learn how to drive, and you teach me how you learn how to ski, so after you can teach me afterwards.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh, nice one. Mufseen, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the experience?
It did. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for being nice and sweet. You're being so sweet when I approached you online, and you're kind of being very sweet and nice as well. And before we go, if you don't mind to share a positive quote or positive message, something that inspires me in life.
Positive quote or a positive message. Really just, it sounds cheesy, I'm not going to say it, but maybe I will. But just be yourself, you know? I know people say that a lot, be yourself, you do you, all that kind of stuff, but it's like, if you just stop and think, like, when you go to work, when you go to your friends and stuff, just be yourself, because at the end of the day, you've got nothing, hopefully you have nothing to lose by being yourself. And if you do lose anything, then you've stayed true to yourself.
It's a beautiful tool. I think be yourself is a beautiful tool. It's being yourself. Because people, when they pretend being somebody else, they're worrying all the time because they're not themselves. So if you're yourself, you're relaxed, and people gonna like you, people gonna love you, people gonna dislike you, but you are yourself. So that's what counts in life. I agree with you as well.
And celebrate other people being themselves too. It works both ways.
Totally agree. I agree. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure having you in the show. I really, really like it. Okay, we keep in touch, and all the best. Thanks again for the interview. Okay?
Thank you. It's been fun.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show, and I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.